Hi, welcome back to the building site. Today we're just going to be continuing with work in this room. We're upstairs in our future cozy snug area, which is not very cozy at the moment. I don't really know what this video is going to include. We're just going to be cracking on with stuff. We've got lots of bits and pieces to do, but people love the renovation videos, so we're going to make another one for you starting now. Get all your clobber on.
Okay.
You're going up?
Yeah.
Would you maybe prefer like a crowbar-y thing to pry a little bit of that off?
Yeah, because it's kind of blown, most of it.
A lot of it is.
I don't think the crowbar's going to be sufficient enough.
Okay.
No, just pass me the hammer, Julian.
There you go. Got
All
it?
right. Yeah, alright, watch yourself.
So yesterday I found that I could go like half pressure on the trigger.
That's what I was doing, I was barely touching it.
Okay, cool. That almost doesn't look like a stone wall, it looks more like...
No, it's just rubble infill.
Okay, so all of that's coming down as well,
Yeah.
is it? Okay.
So I think the stone wall kind of comes to here.
Yeah, that's consistent
with... And then it has this angled...
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is all schist. There might be birds in there.
I know, but... doesn't look like it.
Yeah. It's a good look.
Okay.
Got it? So you know how I like a wood joke?
This is not a joke.
This is not funny. It is a bit of a joke, but it's not funny.
So there was quite some damage to the timbers up there. The funniest one though is where the timber must have got some damage, and then the birds have come in and been taking fibres out and using it for nesting.
We've essentially got a floating rafter that's not attached to anything.
Yeah, and there's a couple that are moving, and the wall plate was disintegrated. Looks like what they've done with the first layer of tiles, which we're calling the Roman tiles. There's like a 2 or 3 tile piece of detail that goes out beyond the building, and underneath that, to get the correct slope, they've actually built up using tile pieces, broken tile pieces, like a little platform, and then that's going like that way. But the rafters are actually coming in and sitting in there, on there, whatever. So they're actually supported even though the wall plate has disappeared. There was obviously some leaks in the past at some point, because there have been some batten replacements up there, and not even replacements, they've just left the old rotten ones and put new ones in front of them. And so one of those is being connected through a rafter on this end, but on this end it's just hanging and sitting on a rock. And now that's a rock that needs to come out, so I can't take that out now because the batten is sitting on it. Anyway, doesn't matter. We're going to have to amend our plan. We can still do a lot of works in here, but none of the final work. So can't have the final plastering done, can't have the wood burner in, can't put the hearth in. They're going to have to do quite a bit of remedial work in here. So the timbers are really only right at like the bottom this much. So I'm hoping what that they can do is just go a little bit past the damage, put a scarf cut, I think it's called. I don't know which way it's meant to go. And then put another piece and potentially as well sister it on the sides.
Potentially.
And we need to find, because this is all going to be exposed, we'll need to work with him to find a way that can be aesthetically pleasing alongside the old timbers. But it's quite amazing, like the timbers fine, hanging just because it was encased and not able to breathe. And where they've shoved in some rocks, like there's tiles that are like this, so water has definitely been going in there because the tiles are not all sitting flat and correct. So it's good that we've done this, but now we need to speak to our roofer and also change our plan.
You ready for some plastering?
Oh, it's a frickin' mess up there. So we're going to do a bit of plastering to try and stabilise the wall a bit, because there's a lot of loose stuff now that just keeps falling. And one of the other things we have to start doing is drilling into the walls. I don't really want to do that while loads of stuff is falling. So we're going to give it a really thin base coat to hold all the stuff in place.
Or maybe a really thick base coat so we can start leveling the wall out.
Yeah, all that. We'll see how we go. I'll see. I just want to fill all the holes and stop all the bits falling.
Yeah.
That's the first objective. And then we'll remember how exhausting this is.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've done any plastering, and I quite like plastering, so I'm looking forward to this part of the project that is this room. We've shown lots of plastering before. We've got lots more plastering to do, but that's what we're going to be doing, so that's what we're going to show you.
And there's lots of people who have not seen some of the plastering because they just found the channel recently. So, you know, then they get to see all this craziness. This nozzle is not working very good.
Okay, let's see if this fits.
Just squish it on the sides. Yep.
There you go.
Nice.
So the big bucket is down here.
Yep.
You can use this one.
Can you take that, put it in
You
the
want
big...
that? I'll put it in the big one, yep.
In the big one.
Yeah.
Should have left my jeans on.
Too warm for that.
I know, but then I don't want lime on my legs because hopefully it won't get too much. Chestnut though, goodness me. This might not be strong enough. I don't want to damage the timber. Yeah, this is not good enough leaves on it.
Try the crowbar.
You might have to use your boy muscles. I was going to try and save these, but most of them don't look in great condition.
How about we save them for kindling?
Yep. Yeah. So these nails are a bit easier than some we've worked with. Not like those ones in the ceiling, though, they were ridiculous.
Oh yeah, nice one.
They're not in that deep, so...
Yeah. Just the tip.
Just the tip.
So we're trying to keep as many of the old original period features in the property as much as we can, and so we're going to be exposing the lintels in this room and many of the others as well. But these ones were originally plastered over, and so all of the nails in here was to help all the plaster grab onto the wood. So we need to take all of those out, and they'll probably need a little bit of a clean up just to make them look a bit more presentable. We'll probably stain them dark like the ones we did downstairs in the kitchen, and it should bring a nice bit of rustic charm to this room. Although given that it's going to have a vaulted ceiling and you'll be able to see all of the roof structure as well, it's definitely not lacking in character. One thing that we were planning to expose originally, but have now decided against that, is this stone wall here. In fact, ages ago, Kylie went around with some leftover hemp plaster that we had and kind of outlined where the exposed section would be. But because we've got so much going on in here, and because pointing a wall this size is a huge undertaking, both in terms of the pointing and then the cleanup afterwards, we have decided against that. And so this wall is going to be plastered as soon as I've got some socket boxes in the wall. Oh, that's working well.
Yeah, it's a great little tool.
So what do you think? Is it worth cleaning them up more, or just leaving the rusticness?
I think we're just clean those up with the wire brush, that first third.
Yeah.
I think that's fine.
Yeah.
We're going to stain them, that'll cover up most
exactly.
of the...
So you can see some of the... I don't know if this is actually a mark from the nail.
That's the nail, yeah. There's a lot of them.
But if we stain it dark, then you won't
notice. And it's fine.
It's
It's like the character. I don't want to flap disc them all and take them back like I did in the kitchen. That's...
Well, you did that with the beams, but not with the lintels.
Yeah, I don't think it's needed.
No.
So if we just go around and clean up around the edges so that we can tape it all,
yeah,
that should be fine. I was also just thinking, because we're trying to do all the dusty things today,
yeah.
The window liner...
Well, it needs to sit pretty much against where this is.
Yeah, so on this lintel, right?
Yes,
It will
that's
sit
right,
under that one.
Yeah.
And then we'll jam... What did we do in the bathroom? No, did we cover the gap?
Yeah, we use laths or something.
No. So the gap between here and here, isn't that where the window liner sat?
Oh, maybe.
So that we just had lintel to the window liner, which gets trimmed then put around it.
Yes, I think
or
that's
something.
correct.
So we need to take this out.
Yeah, and the shutters
These
off.
shutters off, and hope it doesn't rain in the next couple of days, which it shouldn't.
No, there's no rain on the forecast. That was easy.
Careful.
That was me being careful.
Take the whole frame out in one piece.
Yeah, I'm just that good.
Are you?
No, it was very awkward. I love it when you find old newspaper used as insulation.
think insulation is the right word. Stuffing.
Filler. I don't know if you can read that, but it says quarta-feira, which is Wednesday, 29 de novembro, 29th of November, 1972.
So they put the windows in 72?
No, I think it's from the tile.
Ah.
Filling behind the tiles.
Yeah, okay.
Learning from our mistakes.
Yeah. I had to do so much post-plastering cleanup last time in the bathroom and downstairs, but this time just putting a little bit more time into it now. Less time later, in theory.
Yeah, because I did tape up the ones downstairs, but as soon as
but not like this.
No, not as
everywhere.
much tape.
And it's just everything drops.
Well, the plastering is quite a wet process,
Exactly.
and it just unstuck the tape, unfortunately. So we'll see how we go this time. Yes, there we go. Okay, we're making good progress with the work in this room. We got the back boxes in yesterday, we got some more plaster on the walls, and this morning we're going to do something different. Although something that we have done before and shown you before, but it is just the next thing on the list. So that we can finish the plastering, there is something that needs to happen in all of these window reveals, or both of the window reveals, which is a window liner. So we can attach a new window frame and then put the restored windows in at some point in the future. So it's a fairly simple process. A piece at the top, a piece at the bottom, two sides. We'll insulate underneath with some wood fibre insulation, stick some laths over the top, and then plaster it all in nicely. And then at some point in the future, windows will be restored and fit. Fit or fitted? One of those anyway. So that's what's up next.
just let me wedge this underneath of it. Is that more or less where you want it in relation to the distance from the street? Well, let me just get this under it and then we can adjust.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, let's do that.
So holding carefully.
Holding carefully. Can I have a hat, please?
That's good. I don't think this level is particularly level anymore.
No, this one's the yellow one is better, even though it's not as long.
Yeah, that's better. That level needs to be thrown out.
Well,
So
it's
it should
more
be
of
just a screeding level.
Yeah, that is pretty much what it is now.
That's good.
Is it good enough?
Yeah, it's probably good enough.
So satisfying. Well, in just a few short days, although quite long days really, there's been a big transformation in this small room. We got some plaster on the walls, we got the window liners in, a little bit of first fix electrics as well. And whilst it is definitely not finished, it is coming together nicely.
So I just want to mention two things. One, which is, I know it's a 20 or 25-minute video that you're watching, but this work took us 4 days, 4 long days. But the one really good thing was everything in this room, bar taking down some of that old chimney stuff, we've done before. So it was kind of nice to not have to problem solve and think too much. It was just to, you know, rinse and repeat. And we got much more of that rinsing, repeating in the other rooms up here, which hopefully we'll get to later this year. But we have probably another week in here to finish like insulating under the windows and plastering them. There's some more repairs in one of the walls that needs to get done. There's some skirting board timbers we want to put in, which are to be used in the future to attach skirting boards to. But yeah, another week in here, I think. And then we kind of got to wait for the roof, because we can't do much more in here until the roof works get done. But yeah, that's it for this week. We need to go and have a rest before we start again next week.
Yeah, so lots more to look forward to in this room and all the other rooms as well. So do make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss out on the future episodes. But that's it for this one. We'll see you next time. See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, welcome back to the building site. We've got another renovation. We're going to do another renovation. Blah, 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 blah. Going to need to plug this in.
No, you're not going to be able to reach your mullet when you've got your hands on there.
That's excellent timing. Thank you very much. So I very rarely answer my phone, but I'm glad I did, because it was a wine delivery. So important business.